What it do? It's DOA back with another episode of putting shit together. Y'all know we still on these alchemical steps. I got a special guest in the studio, man, hitting the hookah. Read a verse preacher on TikTok. Y'all go check her out. She be reading the Bible verses, reading them straight through instead of breaking them into pieces like the preachers do in church. So if y'all interested in those teachings from the Bible, go check that out on TikTok, Reader versus Preacher. We on Psalms right now, so you can get that good word up in you, uncut. Well, as good or uncut as you can get. You know them translations, they be tearing up the word a little bit, but you can get it straight from the horse's mouth and you can meditate on it. That's one of the steps, alchemical steps anyway. Meditating on the word, that's fermentation. So we on distillation this time, which is the step after fermentation. Distillation is represented by the zodiac sign Virgo, by the chemical compound Black Pulvis Solaris, which consists of black antimony and purified sulfur. It's also a chemical in the body called Bazur. That's what they call it, but it's a sublimated solid that forms in the brain and the intestines. So chemically, this process is the boiling and condensation of the fermented substance to increase the purity. So it'll be like taking wine and distilling it and making it into brandy. So you've taken the grapes, which was fermented, to make the wine, and then distilling that fermented substance that is the wine, and eventually you'll come up with brandy, which will be a purified, higher strength, more potent version of wine. So psychologically, it's the agitation and sublimation of psychic forces to ensure no parts of the ego makes it into the final stage of alchemy. This is the sixth step, which happens in the third eye chakra. That's at the pituitary and pineal gland in the brain. So for those of you that don't know, the pineal gland is like a small pine cone looking gland that is in the seat of the brain, and it controls your psychic energies, high intuition, things of that nature. So it is activated by a variety of introspective techniques that raise the psyche to its highest form, free from emotions and personal identity. So that would mean you be acting out of your highest form of intuition, using the psychic powers without emotional constraints on it. So pretty much just clear-cut truth, getting straight to the facts, acting on your highest manifestation without the consideration of, those lower emotional feelings like feeling sorry for oneself, sadness, anger, irritation, and all of that. So just really moving with clarity and purity of thought. Purification of the unborn self, where we can be all that we truly are and we're ever meant to be. So that's that happens before you birth the new self, the pure self. So while this new self is being born, you are ridding it of the ego. And if y'all tuned into the previous step, it was fermentation. So fermentation was invoking the higher power, praying to your most high to be invigorated and re-energizing this infant that we created, the hermaphroditic child. So that'll be the union of the masculine and feminine sides of the brain together, free from the lower vibrational thoughts associated with the masculine and feminine side. The masculine, of course, being in logic, and the feminine side being instinct. So we unified those two parts to create the true self. And then in distillation, we're activating the psychic powers to distill or burn off the ego. So all the parts of the ego that would try to creep into the new substance, we're ridding ourselves of that before the true self is fully born and brought about into this realm. Physiologically, it's the raising of the life force from the cauldron of the brain. So it's the circulation of light to form a solid. And it forms a solid beam of light energy in the third eye, in the pineal gland. So that's going to be the raising of the kundalini energy, the life force energy, from the seat, from the base chakra up to the third eye chakra. And that's going to make a solid beam of light in the third eye, which is going to lead you. That's going to be your psyche, your higher intuition. It's going to ensure that you're able to always see the bigger picture, even in difficult situations. So, of course, life is always lifing and throwing out new obstacles in your path, and you get yourself into precarious situations, but having the sight beyond sight to see the benefits and to see the light at the end of the tunnel through all these situations, to not get down on oneself, let the emotions take reign over your life, and having high ups and real low lows. So it's kind of keep you even keeled to always see your full potential through all these different scenarios and circumstances that happen in life. So more spiritual energies come into the crown, and the psychic forces are stirred up to reveal if any mental or emotional impurities have been hidden. So these psychic forces are going to be able to show you all your emotional imbalances, emotional impurities that's hidden down into the id, into the ego. And this is where the earth kundalini and the spiritual kundalini form a cosmic circuit. So it's like a bridge between the heaven and the earth. It's like a lightning rod. It'll make you pretty much become like a lightning rod, where you're channeling the high energies of the heavens and bringing them into conjunction with the highest earth energies. So you literally become like a lightning rod, where you can be energized and be able to tolerate these high life energies. The pineal gland and the pituitary gland, when activated, they strengthen the flesh and bone so that they're able to tolerate these higher energies. So you literally become strengthened physically. On the planetary level, it's the realization of higher love and the union of all. So it's like understanding that we all come from one singular life energy. Everything on the planet is interconnected. You start to realize that and you start to act on that. So it's like a union, a one love. So we realize that once again that saying as above so below, even the smallest energies of life and the largest are all coming from the same source, from the one source. And it's like a union of all things. So we share like a planetary truth, um, a universal truth. That's what's connecting us to all the other beings on Earth. Yeah, the life force of the entire planet seeks to become one force through this shared truth. So it's another level of unification. Just like in conjunction, we unified the masculine and feminine. Now we're unifying the heaven and the earth to become one. As always, it's gonna be some yoga poses that's associated with the third eye chakra, and as I said, it can be activated through introspection. So looking into oneself and really weeding out once again what's necessary and what's not. But in this case, it'll be the ego. So we're creating this new being, which is a new powerful being that's been energized by the Most High. And we want to make sure that we don't let the deception of the ego take control of this new empowered being. So making sure that the ego is not steering this new superpowered being that we're creating. So that's distillation, literally burning off the ego. So boiling off the ego, we capture the vapors, which is rising to the top. That high energy, the light energy, not the heavy stuff that's gonna want to drop to the bottom when you distill a substance. That's what's happening when you're distilling chemically to make a spirit. You letting all the heavy stuff, all that heavy emotions, and all that heavy ego drop to the bottom and let the vapors rise and be caught. And that's what we're using is the vapors. So we still acknowledging that we're a physical being, but we're also energizing that with the energies of the heavens. And that's where that lightning rod comes into play, where you're channeling that lightning to the ground, to the earth, and combining the two, circulating the two up to the third eye chakra, which is going to activate your psychic powers. So it's a high level of psychic powers, and these psychic powers we're using to make sure that we're not acting on emotion. And in this stage, a lot of times you'll have people around you will be able to see that you're going through this. They're going to feel the difference. They're going to feel the energy, that high energy. And a lot of times it causes some separation, because people will feel that you're such a balanced individual. Your energy is so balanced, it makes people uncomfortable in a lot of situations where, lots of people are driven by emotion, and they kind of have become addicted to those the hormonal imbalances pretty much that we go through as humans. People kind of become accustomed to it, and they kind of get addicted to it. So a lot of times when you're imbalanced like that, when you have that high level of calm about yourself, people will naturally feel it, but lots of people will be repelled from it when they're just acting in this state of disarray that a lot of people often live their life in. So you can't be afraid of that. I feel like in a lot of these steps has been, of course, the filtration. So we're making ourselves a more refined person. And in refinement, you do rid yourself of a lot of things that don't serve you. So I would urge y'all not to be discouraged by some of these relationships that you might lose going through these steps. Distillation might cause a high level of separation in your life from maybe some of those that you've been carrying along with you throughout life for a long time. It might cause you to, part ways. But I urge you to continue on and know that at every level, there are beings that are waiting to unite with you. So, you might shed some of the lower vibrational energies that's in your life, but higher vibrational energies are awaiting you to reach these steps and to combine with you. So that's why I share these videos, because as they say, it's lonely at the top, and I don't feel like, I'm definitely no perfect individual, and I don't feel like I'm at the top of my game, but I do know that I'm consciously working to reach that peak. And it can be lonely at the top, but distillation, the step itself, lets you know that if you feel that loneliness, that's something that needs to be boiled off. You need to heat it up and get rid of that. That's an emotional feeling of loneliness. We should feel the interconnectedness with all that is the Most High, and that's everything. So I would urge you to take hikes, go out in nature when you're activating this step, and you'll see the beauty that's all around you. You'll feel connected to all that the Most High has created, from the smallest entity, from plants to hugging a tree, and you'll just see the beauty in everything. And that's one of the precursors of this step. That's one of the ways you can see that you're actively working this step, is that you notice this unconditional love about yourself for all those around you. And even though, people in your life might not be at this stage, and it might repel them or repulse some people that you're going through these stages of refinement, you can still have love for them. I got love for everybody, and I urge y'all to do the same. We're all coming from one source. We're just at different levels of our evolution. So there's no shame in it. There's no shame in where you're starting in these steps and on this ladder. Just embrace it and face these steps head on. Take them on head on and enjoy the beauty that's the all. Once again, y'all know I'm always happy to have y'all. I hope y'all get something from these videos. I urge you to watch the ones that came before if you haven't, and work the steps. And join me on this last video. That's going to be the last step coming next, the 7th video of the series, where we kind of wrap it all up. And as I said, we're going to work it in a cycle, so it's never done. We just reach the top of the ladder and we cycle it back through the base chakra, and we keep repeating until we reach our golden state. As always, it's peace and love, love and light. Your boy DOA, putting shit together. Till the next time, peace.